In a busy city, right next to a crowded railway station, lived a man named Samir. People called him a beggar. Every day he walked from train to train, asking passengers for a few coins, just enough to survive. But one day, something happened that changed his life forever. As Samir moved through one of the trains, he saw a tall man wearing an expensive suit. Confident, successful, someone who looked like he had everything. Samir thought, if I ask him, maybe he will give me something good. So with hope in his eyes, he approached the man and said softly, "Sir, please give me something." The tall man looked straight at him and asked, "You always ask, but do you ever give anything to anyone?" Samir froze. No one had ever asked him that. He replied, "Sir, I am a beggar. How can I give anything? I only survive on what people give me." The man smiled and said, "If you have nothing to give, you have no right to ask. I am a businessman. I believe in give and take. If you give something, only then can you receive something." And just like that, he boarded the train and disappeared. But his words stayed in Samir's heart. You always ask, do you ever give anything? That question hit him harder than hunger ever had. He realized he had spent his whole life asking, hoping, begging, but never giving. But again he wondered, what can a beggar give? For 2 days he kept thinking. No answer, just confusion. Then on the third morning, as he sat near the station, he noticed something. Beautiful flowers blooming on small plants nearby. Bright, fresh, full of life. And a spark lit up inside him. Why don't I give flowers to people who give me money? For the first time in years, Samir felt excitement. He picked a few flowers, held them carefully, and stepped inside the train. A man gave him a coin, and Samir immediately offered him a small flower with a smile. The man looked surprised. Then he smiled too, and kept the flower with happiness. From that day, Samir began giving a flower to everyone who gave him money. And something magical happened. People loved it. They appreciated the gesture. They smiled at him. They gave more. His income doubled, then tripled. He realized something powerful. People weren't giving him charity. They were paying for the flowers. He was no longer a beggar. He was a small businessman. Days passed. Weeks passed. Samir grew more confident. And then, one day, inside a train, he saw the same tall man again. Samir rushed to him and said proudly, "Sir, today I have something to give you. If you give me money, I will give you flowers." The man smiled and gave him some coins. Samir placed a fresh bunch of flowers in his hands. The man said, happily, "Wonderful! Today you're just like me, a businessman." Those words opened a new world inside Samir. He stepped off the train, looked up at the sky and shouted with tears in his eyes, "I am not a beggar anymore. I am a businessman. I can become rich." People around him stared, thinking he had gone crazy. But Samir walked away with a new identity. From the next day onwards, he never returned as a beggar. 6 months later, two men in suits stood at the same railway station. They looked at each other, shook hands. One of them said, "Do you recognize me?" The other replied, "No, I don't think so." The man smiled and said, "We've met twice before. I am Samir, the beggar you once spoke to." The businessman gasped, "You're the same man." Samir nodded proudly. "Yes, today I run a large flower business. My shop supplies flowers to the entire city." He continued, "In our first meeting, you taught me a rule. You get only when you give. In our second meeting, you taught me who I really was. I wasn't a beggar. I was a businessman." Both the men smiled and walked forward, talking like two successful businessmen. And that, my friends, is the power of changing your thinking. Samir didn't change his circumstances. He changed his mindset. And that one shift changed his entire life. When you think small, you stay small. But the moment you think big, the world expands for you. Remember, success is not outside you. Success begins in your mind. Change your thinking, and life will change itself.
If you liked this story, give it a like and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring and life-changing stories.